All right, here we are at Alberta Beatdown 2, once again being held at the OverKlocked Gaming and Computers LAN Center in Edmonton, Alberta. And we're in the winner's bracket finals of this tournament. We've got RevDime versus xSixMkengyn, and we are here on Tall Dream Altar. Both of these players reigning from Calgary here. They're going to be exchanging good luck, have fun, and we're going to see RevDime as the green Protoss down here as the bottom left, and xSixMkengyn as the teal Zerg up in the top left.
As you can see from this cute little pylon, there will be fast expansion, which is very standard and quite nice versus Zerg.
Yeah, and there's going to be double checking this is indeed a best of 3. And the winner of this is going to be moving on to the grand finals. The loser is going to get knocked down to the loser's bracket, where he's going to have to fight his way through a pretty hefty name of players. We've got... well, there's a lot of big names in there whose all of their names escape me right now, even though I know I could take. Archaic is in there. What's his name? Starts with an S.
I can't remember. Just go back a couple VODs and you'll find it. Yeah,
it's on the tip of my tongue, but I just can't remember it. But a lot of really good players in that loser's bracket, and it's going to be a pretty tough climb back to the top. So Forge are going to be going down for Dime right now. He's definitely going to be going for that fast expansion. And Mkengyn probably going to do the same. The map is again Tall Dream Altar, which means that the rush distances are pretty huge.
Yeah, the Forge is a very nice decision, as he will be able to get some cannons up to defend against early Zerglings. And we do have the very nice fast expansion here from Mkengyn, which will be good to keep him in line economy-wise with the Protoss.
Yeah, and again, this is really in line with Mkengyn's style. He's definitely a player who favors the long macro games that really tax a player's decision-making and just their overall skill in StarCraft 2, which is something he's definitely got in abundance. And right now, Dime is going to be scouting him out. He's going to finally find him in the very last position that he sees. And he is going to see the fast expansion. He sees the drone waiting for a pylon or a cannon rush to go down. This is a really good position here, as it's been getting pretty common to see a Protoss player throw down a few pylons and then a photon cannon and completely block off this expansion. And now this spawning pool just about complete. He's confident enough to pull that drone back home and let the spawning pool complete, so he knows that even if those pylons were to finish, he'll have enough Zerglings to take them down and shut down the cannon rush.
That was a very nice decision there by RevDime, building the Nexus without any defense because he knew the spawning pool was late. So he is going to get that Nexus a bit quicker than normal, which will give him the extra minerals that he needs to hopefully push well in this game.
Yeah, it's going to allow him to stay on a little closer bit of an economic footing with Mkengyn, who's shown time and time again that he's a player that can explode economically very, very quickly. And right now, Dime's probe is going to be driven away by these Zerglings. And he is going to be taken down pretty quickly here. And then Mkengyn is going to... he might not even bother using these Zerglings to do too much scouting here, as he's seen the photon cannon warping, and he's seen pretty much everything going on at the wall, and now he's going to get a good read on what's going on in the natural expansion. This Overlord has done more than enough work this game.
I'm actually not quite sure if that cybernetics core next to that pylon is a perfectly tight wall off. Or maybe Zealot might be able to fit through that, but regardless of that fact, when he does get a full army, he will have to kill one of those tech structures, which I'm sure he's more than willing to do.
Yeah, he can take down this pylon that is powering 3, or at least the Forge there, and he will be able to get out. And he can just shift that over really easily, which is not going to be too costly for him at all. He is going to go for a Stargate. This is dangerously close, especially with an Overlord hanging out in his base and the Zerglings knocking on his front door. If some of those Zerglings were to get a little bit too close, that Stargate might get revealed, but he doesn't have pylon power anywhere else in his base, so he doesn't really have much of a choice. The Stalker's now he's going to try to maybe pick off this Overlord, but that Overlord is going to be a little bit too far away. Stalker's not quite going to be able to reach. Meanwhile, looking back at the base of Mkengyn, we've got Macro Hatchery going down in his main base, and I think we could be seeing some high economy aggression out of Mkengyn in the very near future.
I also was talking to Dime before this series, actually, and he says he does really, really enjoy Phoenix builds, especially versus Terran, but he does like them quite a bit versus Zerg as well. He's actually getting a Void Ray, so we should be seeing just some little bit of pressure there. I do like the macro hatch inside of Mkengyn's base, as if he does his Void Rays, they're very slow. They don't do too much damage when they're not charged up, so he might be able to break in here and take down that wall.
Yeah, and again, both of these players coming from Calgary, they compete against each other in all of the local Calgarian events. So they're going to be relatively familiar with each other's playstyles, and I think this is a read by Dime, knowing that xMkengyn is somebody who really does like going Roach into Infestor in this matchup, and the Void Ray is definitely going to help him out in dealing with that. And of course, the Void Ray followed up by Phoenixes is a pretty standard Stargate opening, but I think there's a little bit of metagame psychology going on behind the scenes here. And he's going to have an opportunity to do a pretty decent amount of damage here, as xMkengyn's going to see this first Void Ray flying in pretty shortly here. Maybe. Time actually moves it up. There we go. Oh, no, he's trolling me good. As the Void Ray turns around. I think he might have caught whiff of that Overlord there. Doesn't want to get scouted out quite yet. He is going to wait for a few more Phoenixes here so that he can lift up the Queens and then really start to put the hurt on xMkengyn, as there's pretty much nothing else in the way of anti-air other than a grand total of 3 Queens running around between these 3 hatcheries here.
Yeah, sniping off Queens this early in the game is very annoying for the Zerg player. I also do like his decision again on these dual evolution chambers, because he can quickly get those upgrades out and quickly pump out a lot more extra units with that macro hatchery and try to overrun the Protoss.
Yeah, that attack could have been a little bit more well executed there by Dime. Dime looks like he just G-clicked a few of those Queens and then let the Void Ray catch up a little bit later. And he lost a pretty significant amount of DPS from that Void Ray by letting those Phoenixes charge in head first. And he might have been able to pick off a second Queen there, but alas, he was not able to do so. So xMkengyn now going to be gearing up to take his third expansion. He's seen the Stargate build, and he's got a Hydra Den completing right now, as well as level 1 weapons and Galil reconstitution for his Roaches. He's also got level 1 Carapace on the way as well. So he's going to be going for a Roach Hydra army composition in the mid-game stages of this match.
I don't totally agree with those Hydras. I know he really wants to stop the Phoenixes, but as you can see, he did stop Phoenix production, so maybe xMkengyn was over-expecting a lot of Phoenixes, but Dime did switch over to heavy gateway tech, so Hydras are fairly good versus gateway units, but he could easily switch to a Colossi and those Hydras would get demolished.
The xMkengyn is just going to continue to macro up right now. He shut down drone production for the time being. Meanwhile, looking back at the base of Dime, he's got pylons going down everywhere. 4 pylons on the way right now, as he's pylon blocked for quite some time with 1,000 minerals floating right now. Needs to level up his multitasking a little bit. It's going to break down the pylon to let him get out of his base. And while that is happening, xMkengyn is moving up right now with a handful of Roaches to do a little bit of poking here. But with these 2 cannons and a reasonably large gateway force, these Roaches are going to fall back, and then they're going to get picked up by these Phoenixes here, and a few of those Roaches are going to get picked off, but the rest of them will be able to run their way back home. A lot of creep spread by xMkengyn right now, with a grand total of 5 Queens on the field. He's going to be able to cover the map of creep very quickly. And Dime knows this. He's got a robotics facility on the way right now. A lot of anti-air on the army of xMkengyn. These Phoenixes are not really going to be able to contribute a lot in these next big engagements.
I think we will be seeing some Colossi, which will be quite a good counter, even against those Roaches. I do like how the Phoenixes are still running around, because it keeps the Zerg kind of pinned back, and it makes them a little bit nervous on moving out.
Yeah, the Phoenixes were just getting a little bit more scouting information. He doesn't know exactly when xMkengyn's third base went up. And he's got 2 pylons down here at the third base of his own. He's already taken down the destructible rocks, so I do think that he's going to be setting up a third base of his own pretty quickly here. And the hallmark of a good Zerg is staying 1 base ahead of his opponent. And if a third base goes down, then xMkengyn's going to have a little bit of work ahead of him. We look at the supply counts right now. It's 136 to 123 for Dime. And at this point in the game, you generally expect to see the Zerg player a little bit farther ahead, so I think that third expansion was a little bit more delayed than xMkengyn wanted.
It also seems Dime is starting Void Ray production again, so there may be a chance that we'll see old-fashioned Colossi Void Ray with ground army there. So we'll have to see how xMkengyn reacts to that if he does scout.
Yeah, xMkengyn finally going to be bringing an Overlord over here so we can start throwing down some creep tumors right next to all this. We've also got vision of the high ground so you can do a little bit of damage to this national expansion. We can see that this assembly is going to go down pretty quickly, and Dime's going to have to swing all the way around. The question is xMkengyn going to run away, or is he going to engage this? If he engages this, his force is going to cut his army in half, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Transfusion's going down on these Roaches. This is a pretty sizable force. from Dime. There's just not enough zealots, just not enough meat in this army for him to take that engagement. However, xMkengyn is not quite confident enough with risking losing his army at this point in the game. He is going to wait for a few more reinforcements, as he does have Pathogen Glands just about to complete, and the Infestors are on the way.
Yeah, that attack put Dime sort of in the lead here, so he could go take a fourth if he felt safe enough, but there is a pretty sizable army from xMkengyn.
You know, xMkengyn, again, just keeping the pressure on this natural expansion. You're making it very hard for Dime to do exactly what he wants. Nice force field is going to cut a reasonably large chunk of the army in half, but thanks to that burrow ability from on those roaches, he will be able to just burrow under those force fields and hightail it out of there very easily. Now he's going to be swinging around to this bottom here to put a little bit of pressure on this on the Cert expansion here after doing a bunch of damage to the natural by shooting up over the high ground. But he's playing mind games with both Dime and myself here. So he's going to, again, go right into the natural here. Force Field's going to cut his army off once again. The Roach is going to burrow under, but not after losing the majority of the army that got past those Force Fields. The Hydra's not able to contribute a lot. They were able to get a few shots on those Void Rays, but they will fall back. And now xMkengyn is going to be going full force into this. The Infestor's finally going to show up, and these Stalkers are quite bunched up. There goes the Fungal Growths, but is there enough firepower here for xMkengyn to take this fight, maybe the game? More reinforcements showing up, more Fungal Growths going down. Dime is in a lot of trouble. The Void Rays are down. All he's got is a handful of Stalkers to hold on to this game.
That was a very nice engagement by xMkengyn. I really think he should be taking another base, because he is quite high on the mineral count. I would also love to see a check the hive. Also, I've noticed Dime hasn't really touched these robotics facilities yet. All he's built out of both of them is a single observer, so I'm curious to see what his plans are.
All right, and xMkengyn just continuing to rally units
GG.
in there, and there's the GG. xMkengyn is going to take game 1.